Welcome back, everybody. What you were looking at is a made in the US digital GaN amplifier Class D, 400 watts per channel into 8 ohms, 600 watts per channel into 4 ohms. This amp is also 2 ohm capable and stable. Did I mention this is assembled in the United States? It has a GaN FET output stage, a 2000 watt power supply, a fully digital design with PCM converted to PWM in the output stage. Basically, this means this doesn't have a DAC. You don't need a DAC. This does it all within the amplifier. So this amplifier is a very simple Class D GaN FET amp with one input, and that input is a digital COAX input, meaning you can basically hook up a $200 WIM Pro Plus to the COAX input of this amplifier and have a fully streaming digital music system ready to go. You won't need a bunch of interconnects, you won't need a DAC, you won't need a preamp. All you need is a streamer that has volume control. This little WIM has it. A streamer with a coax out, and you are ready to roll. So let's talk a little bit more about this VTV digital amplifier. It comes in at only $1,500. If you add the WIM Pro Plus streamer at a couple hundred, you're at $1,700 for a powerhouse 400 watt per channel GaN based Class D amp for a digital streaming music solution. More info about this digital GaN FET amp. There's no global feedback. It has an EMI RFI filtered AC inlet. It is built into a custom designed aluminum case with a blue LED pilot, silver coated speaker output wiring, and a 2-year warranty. This amp comes in at 15 pounds, very lightweight. So when this amp arrived, I was very curious about it being a GaN-based amp and coming in at only $1,500, yet providing insane amounts of power. 400 watts per channel into 8 ohms, 600 watts per channel into 4 ohms. That sounds like power that can drive just about any speaker. So when it arrived, I removed the amplification, my source, my preamp. I removed that all from the system, and what I had in the system consisted of those AGD Duet amps, the AGD Alto II preamp, as well as the HiFi Rose RS130 Streamer. Now, all in all, this is I'd say about a $24,000 setup for digital streaming. The amplifiers, the preamplifier, and the streamer. So as I took those out, I was replacing it with $1,700 worth of digital music streaming equipment, the digital GaN-based amp, as well as the WIM Pro Plus. Now, I would have used my HiFi Rose RS130 Streamer, but the RS130 Streamer doesn't have any type of volume control. It's a streamer only meant to go into a DAC, so there is no kind of volume control as far as I know with the RS130. There is with the RS150. So I pulled out my trusty WIM Pro Plus, this $210 or so music streamer that is very, very versatile. It sounds great, and with one coax cable, I was able to hook up the WIM directly to the GaN-based amp. Now, this is an all-digital amplifier. Again, you don't need a DAC, a digital to analog converter, because this amp does that conversion from within. So you save money on a DAC, you save money on cables. But the most important thing I wanted to know was, how is this $1,500, $1,700 setup going to sound compared to the $24,000 setup I just removed, which is also a GaN-based Class D setup. All right, so I put in this VTV digital GaN amp. I fired up the WIM Pro, and I listened to my playlist that I listen to when comparing audio gear. Put in the VTV amp, I was expecting something to sound different, and lo and behold, there was a pretty big difference in the sound. The first thing I noticed with the VTV, this budget setup, was it was silent, and that's not something I always see with lower cost amps. And yes, this $1,500 is considered a lower cost amp, an entryway into the high end, so to speak. But it was dead silent, dead quiet. Once I started playing music, I noticed and recognized the very familiar sound signature. Now, to me, this setup sounded like the WIM amp, but on steroids. A much cleaner sound, much more impactful, much more high-end sounding, but it wasn't nearly reaching the heights of the AGD amps that I had just removed from the system with that preamp, with that streamer, all high-end stuff. There's no way that this $1,700 setup was going to match that, and it couldn't. It couldn't match it in the airiness, the holographic sound stage. The VTV product sounded really, really good, though. It sounded a little homogenized, a little smoothed over. I wasn't hearing the details popping out using the Borison X2 speakers or using the triangle duettos, for example, where they do this with the AGD amps and some of the other amps I have on hand. This amp provided a very, very musical experience. There was some warmth in there as well. Very, very smooth performance. Actually, it sounded a lot better than some of the Class AB amps that I've heard in recent times. Much more smooth, and there's a refinement here going on, but it is a very smooth amp. I want to say that the high points of it for me are the bass. It has very good bass. The mids, again, if you like them smooth and musical, not so much coming out, not so much being recessed, just kind of even with the stage. The treble is non-offensive. It's very smooth as well. Some might say it's a little too smooth, but I think that can be improved with a higher quality streamer going into this amp. Remember, I am using a $200 WIM streamer, which, while very good, it does not perform to the level of high-end streamers. So if I was able to, say, put in a high-end streamer, my guess is the sound would open up a little more. Some of the weakness I'm hearing with the homogenized sound might be from the WIM Pro Plus streamer, but none of that matters, because at the end of the day, this is about affordability. It's about building a streaming system that you can have in your home with immense power to power any speaker your heart desires, to be able to stream from any music service with something as simple as a WIM Pro Plus, and it sounds awesome even with the WIM Pro Plus. You have a very rich, beefy sound. It's very clean, but as I said, very smooth. So this is kind of a really remarkable way to get into streaming. Now, Peachtree makes a similar product called the GaN 1. I did hear that a while back, and this reminds me a lot of that product, but I'm thinking this one from VTV might actually be a little more snappier and a little more juicier in the way that it projects sound from the speakers. Again, the power here is unbelievable. The silence here is unbelievable. It runs cool. It's only 15 pounds, and it comes in at $1,500, all while being built right here in the United States. This was sent to me by VTV for review. I'm not getting paid for this review. I don't get to keep the amp, but it is a really cool solution. And seeing since I just talked about the $11,500 AGD Duets with that $8,000 Alto II preamp, I wanted to counterbalance it and show that you can get into this technology that I feel is truly the future of audio amplifiers, this GaN-based Class D tech. So for $1,500, you can pick up this amp. Again, it's only good for one source, so if you want to hook up a turntable, you can't do it. You're only going to be able to hook up one digital source via that one digital coax streamer, and you have an instant digital solution. On the back of the VTV digital amp, you basically have just the power inlet, you have the coax input, and you have your speaker outputs for left and right, and that is all you need. So very, very good sound, very beefy sound, very powerful. I mean, you can't go wrong if you're looking for affordability and a digital streaming platform where all you got to do is add your speakers. And this thing you know, you can hook up cheap speakers to it, you can hook up mid-grade speaker to it, and you can hook up audiophile speakers to it. I tested it with everything I had here, and it powered them all with ease, without any issue, and it retained that similar vibe, that very smooth, impactful, big bass but not loose bass kind of sound, with a smooth top end and a smooth mid-range. Very beautiful amp that plays very beautiful music for very low money in the grand scheme of things. So this is the VTV Digital Amplifier. They have a whole range of Class D amps over there that they can build for you using whatever Class D module you like. I know they have amps built from Purify modules, from Pascal modules, Hypex, I believe. So there's all these different types of Class D amps that you can check out, and each of these amps have a little bit of a different sound character. But what this does have is, as I said, a very flowing, a very jiving, a very get up and go musicality that will never offend the ears. So that was my look at the VTV Digital Amp, and that'll be about it. I thank you all for watching. I'll have more reviews next week, and I will see you then. Bye.